The real law of attraction. Why wanting less gets you more. Chapter 1. The big mistake everyone makes. Have you ever really wanted something? Maybe a new job, maybe more money, maybe a relationship. And you thought about it every day. You made lists, you visualized it, you told yourself, I want this, I need this, why don't I have this yet? And nothing came. Or maybe something small came, but it wasn't really what you wanted, and you felt more frustrated than before. This happens to almost everyone, and there is a reason for it, a very simple reason. But first, let's talk about something you probably already know, the law of attraction. You have probably heard about it. Maybe you watched a famous film called The Secret. In that film, people say, think about what you want. Feel it, believe it, and it will come to you. Sounds easy, right? But here is the problem. Most people watched that film, tried the exercises, made their vision boards, and then waited, and nothing happened. Or things got worse. Why? Because the film missed the most important part. The law of attraction is real, but it does not work the way most people think. It is not about thinking happy thoughts and getting a car. It is much deeper than that. And honestly, it is much simpler too, but in a different way. Let's start with the big mistake, the mistake that almost everyone makes. When you want something very much, there is always a feeling under that want. Do you know what that feeling is? It is lack. It is emptiness. It is the feeling of, I don't have this yet. And that feeling, that vibration, as some people call it, is what you are really sending out into the world. Not the picture of the thing you want, the feeling that you don't have it. Think about it this way. Imagine you are hungry, very hungry. You sit at the table and you say, I really want food. I need food. Where is my food? You are focused on the hunger. You are focused on the empty plate. And in your mind, in your body, in every cell, you feel lack. Now imagine a different moment. You just ate a big, good meal. You feel full and happy. You are not thinking about food at all. You are just enjoying the afternoon. And your friend calls and says, hey, I made too much pasta. Can I bring some over? And you laugh and say yes.
You were not trying to get food. You were not focused on food. But food came anyway. This is the law of attraction working, honestly, not the movie version, the real version. The universe, or life if you prefer that word, responds to what you feel, not to what you say you want. And when you want something very badly, you feel the absence of it. You feel it is missing, and that is exactly what grows, the absence. This is also connected to something called karma. Karma is often explained badly. People think karma means if you do something bad will happen to you later, like a punishment. But karma is more like a mirror. It shows you what you carry inside. The universe is always balanced, perfectly balanced. What you carry inside yourself, you find outside yourself. So if you carry the feeling of, I don't have enough, the world around you will keep showing you situations where you don't have enough. Not because life is unfair, because life is a mirror, a perfect mirror. This is hard to hear, but it is also very good news, because it means you are not a victim of your situation. You are the one who is creating it with your feelings, your thoughts, your inner world. And here is the most important thing to understand before we go further. You cannot fake this. You cannot do an exercise for 5 minutes in the morning and then spend the rest of the day feeling stressed and poor and lonely and expect good things to come. The 5-minute exercise means nothing if the other 23 hours and 55 minutes feel like lack. The real work is not an exercise. It is a shift. A shift in how you see your life right now, not your future life, not the life you want. Your life right now, today, in this moment. That shift is what this audiobook is about. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about vibration, what it really means, and why what you feel right now is so much more powerful than what you think or say or wish for. But before we get there, I want to leave you with one simple idea, one small thing to think about today. Stop asking, how do I get what I want? Start asking, what does it feel like to already have it? Not as an exercise, not as a trick, but as a real question, a real exploration. Because the answer to that question, the real, honest, felt answer, is where everything begins.
Chapter 2. What you feel is what you get. There is a word that comes up a lot in conversations about the law of attraction. That word is vibration. And most people hear it and think, okay, this is getting too spiritual for me. This sounds like something from a yoga class. But stay with me for a moment, because vibration is actually a very practical idea. You already understand it, you just don't call it vibration. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room and felt immediately that something was wrong? Nobody said anything, nobody explained anything, but you felt it. The air felt heavy, the people looked tense, and you wanted to leave. Or the opposite, you walked into a place and immediately felt good, relaxed, safe, happy. Again, nobody explained why, you just felt it. That feeling, that thing you picked up without words, that is vibration. Every person carries it, every room has it, every moment has it. It is the emotional tone of something, the feeling underneath the surface. And you are sending your vibration out all the time, every second of every day. When you are angry, you send that. When you are grateful, you send that. When you are anxious and worried, you send that too. You cannot stop sending it. It is like breathing. It happens whether you want it to or not. Now here's the key thing. The world around you responds to your vibration, not to your words, not to your plans, not to your vision board on the wall, to the feeling you carry inside your body right now in this moment. This is why positive thinking alone does not work. You can say, I am rich, I am happy, everything is great 100 times in the mirror every morning. But if inside you feel scared and small and like nothing ever works for you, those words mean nothing. The feeling wins, always. Because the feeling is the real signal. The words are just sounds. So what vibration are you sending right now? This is an honest question, not a judgment, just a question to sit with. Most people, if they are truly honest, are sending one of a few things: worry, frustration, impatience, the feeling of waiting for life to get better, the feeling of not yet, the feeling of I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I have more money. I'll be happy when I meet the right person. I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when I get that job. Do you recognize this? Almost everyone does. It is incredibly common, and it's also incredibly powerful, but not in the way you want.
Because I'll be happy when is one of the strongest vibrations of lack that exists. You are telling the universe with your whole body, with every feeling in you, I am not okay right now. Right now is not enough. Right now is wrong. And the universe, which is always listening, always responding, gives you more of that feeling. More not yet, more waiting, more lack. This is not punishment. Remember, the universe is like a mirror. It is perfectly balanced. It gives you back what you are. Not what you say, not what you wish, what you are. Now, some people hear this and feel a kind of panic. They think, okay, so I need to feel good all the time? I need to pretend everything is fine even when it isn't? That sounds exhausting and fake. And they are right. That is exhausting, and it is fake, and it does not work. This is another big misunderstanding about the law of attraction. You do not need to perform happiness. You do not need to smile when you are sad. You do not need to pretend your problems are not real. That is not the answer. The answer is something much quieter, much more honest. It starts with a simple but radical idea. What if this moment, right now, with all its problems, all its imperfections, all its messiness, is actually okay. Not perfect in the way a movie is perfect, but okay. Balanced. Right in some deeper way that you might not fully understand yet. What if your life right now is not a mistake? What if it is not a sign that you are doing something wrong? What if it is exactly where you need to be? When you start to feel that, even a little bit, something changes. The tightness in your chest relaxes. The constant noise in your head gets quieter. And you stop fighting the present moment. You stop pushing against life. And that is when things start to shift. Not because you didn't exercise, not because you tricked yourself into feeling good, but because you stopped creating resistance. Because you stopped sending the vibration of, this is wrong, this is not enough, I need something else. There's a word in psychology, and in sports too, called flow. You have probably heard it. Flow is when you're doing something and you completely forget about time. You aren't thinking about the past or the future. You are just here, doing this thing, and it feels natural and easy. Musicians feel it. Athletes feel it. Sometimes you feel it when you are cooking or driving or having a really good conversation. In flow, you are not trying. You are just being. And in that state, things come easily. Ideas come, solutions come, the right words come. Everything feels connected. Flow is not something you can force. You cannot sit down and say, okay, I will be in flow now. It comes when you stop trying so hard, when you let go of the need to control every outcome, when you trust, even a little bit, that things are moving in the right direction, even if you cannot see it yet. This is the real vibration of attraction. Not wanting, not wishing, not trying, just being present. Just being okay with now. Just trusting the process. And trusting does not mean doing nothing. You can still work, still make plans, still take steps toward your dreams, but you do it from a different place inside. You do it because you enjoy it, because it feels right, not because you are desperate for a result. You do it lightly, without gripping too tight. Think about the difference between two people planting seeds in a garden. The first person plants the seeds, and then every day they dig them up to check if they are growing. They worry. They add too much water. They add too much fertilizer. They cannot sleep because they are thinking about the seeds. They check the weather 10 times a day, and slowly the seeds die. Not because the soil was bad, but because the person could not leave them alone. The second person plants the seeds, does what is needed, waters them, gives them sunlight, and then goes inside and has a good evening. They trust that the seeds know how to grow. They check from time to time, but they are not anxious. They are curious, not desperate. And the seeds grow. You are the gardener. Your dreams are the seeds. And the soil, the thing that makes everything possible, is your vibration, your inner state. You're feeling right now, in this moment. Water your garden with gratitude, with presence, with the simple, honest feeling that life is okay right now, that you are okay right now. And then, let it grow.
Chapter 3. The Power of Now. Why this moment is already perfect. Let's start with a question. Where are you right now? Not physically. I mean, where is your mind right now? If you were like most people, your mind is probably not here. It is somewhere else. Maybe it is thinking about something that happened yesterday, or last week, or 3 years ago. Maybe it is thinking about tomorrow, or next month, or what your life will look like in 5 years. Maybe it is replaying a conversation you had with someone. Maybe it is imagining a conversation you haven't had yet. This is completely normal. The human mind loves to travel. It goes to the past, it goes to the future, it goes everywhere, except here, except now. And this is one of the biggest sources of pain that people carry. Not their actual life, their thoughts about their life. The story they tell themselves about what happened and what might happen and what should be different. Because the past cannot hurt you right now. It is gone. It exists only in your memory, in your thoughts. And the future cannot hurt you right now either. It does not exist yet. It is only a picture in your mind. The only thing that is real, the only thing that actually exists is this moment, right now, this breath, this room, this second. And most people are never here for it. They are always somewhere else in their minds, always running, always planning, always worrying, always wishing things were different. And because they are never truly here, they never feel the quiet that is always available in the present moment. They never feel the okayness that is always here underneath all the noise. Now, you might be thinking, but my present moment is not great. My present moment has problems. My present moment has things I do not want. And maybe that is true. Maybe you have real difficulties right now. Money problems, relationship problems, health problems. I'm not saying those things are not real. But here is something important to understand. There is a difference between a problem and your thoughts about a problem. The problem itself is just a situation, a fact, something that is happening. But your thoughts about it, the stories, the fears, the what-ifs, the why me, the this is terrible, those thoughts are what create the real suffering. And those thoughts almost always live in the past or the future, not in the present. Right now, in this exact second, are you okay? Not tomorrow, not in an hour. Right now, this second, are you breathing? Are you alive? Is there air around you? Is your heart beating? Yes, of course. And in this second, that is enough. That is actually a lot.
This is what presence means. Not pretending your problems do not exist, but seeing that in this exact moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now, you are here. You are alive, and there is something incredibly peaceful about that, if you let yourself feel it. There is a concept in Eastern philosophy, and it is also in modern science now, that everything in the universe is connected. Everything is part of one big system, and that system is always moving toward balance. Always. This is what karma really means at its deepest level. Not punishment. Balance. The universe is always correcting itself, always finding equilibrium. And your life, even the difficult parts, is part of that balance. Every hard moment you have lived through has brought you something. Maybe strength, maybe understanding. Maybe it brought you to a person or a place or an idea that changed everything. You might not see it yet, but the balance is there. It is always there. This means that where you are right now is not wrong. It is not a mistake. It is not evidence that life is unfair, or that you are unlucky, or that you are doing something wrong. It is exactly where the universe has brought you, for a reason that might be invisible right now, but is real. When you start to feel this, even just a little, something very important happens. You stop fighting your life. And when you stop fighting your life, you stop creating resistance. And when resistance drops, things can finally move. Think about a river. Water always flows. It always finds a way. But if you put a big rock in the middle of a river, the water has to work around it. It slows down, it creates turbulence, it gets noisy and difficult. Your resistance to the present moment is like that rock. Your constant feeling of, this is wrong, I need something different, I am not where I should be, that is the rock, and it is blocking the flow of your life. It is blocking the very things you want from coming to you. Remove the rock, not by solving all your problems, but by accepting that right now, in this moment, things are as they are, and the water starts to flow again, quietly, naturally, without force. Acceptance is a word that people often misunderstand. They think it means giving up. They think it means saying, I am happy about everything. Everything is fine. I have no wishes. That is not what it means. Acceptance means, I see what is here. I am not running from it. I am not angry at it.
I am not wishing it were different right now, in this moment. I am just here with it. That is all, just being here with what is.
And from that place, from that quiet, open, present place, you can actually see clearly. You can see what is really happening. You can hear your own inner voice. You can notice what feels right and what does not. You can make better decisions. You can take better steps. Because you are not reacting from fear or frustration or lack. You are responding from a place of calm, a place of being okay. There is also something beautiful that happens when you are truly present. You start to notice how much good is already around you. Small things, simple things, the light coming through a window, a good cup of something hot, the sound of rain, a moment of quiet before the day starts, a smile from a stranger. These things were always there. You just were not here to see them. You were in the past or the future, missing all of it. And every time you notice something small and feel genuine, not performed, not forced, but real appreciation for it, something shifts. Your vibration changes, not because you did an exercise, because you were actually feeling something good right now about something real. That is the seed of everything. Gratitude is not a technique. It is not something you write in a journal for 5 minutes and then forget. Real gratitude is a way of seeing, a way of being, a practice of noticing again and again, hundreds of times a day, that there is already something good here, something real, something that did not have to be here, but is. And that noticing, that real, honest, felt noticing, is one of the most powerful vibrations that exists, because it says to the universe, I see the good that is already here. And the universe, always responding, always balanced, brings more of what you can already see. Not because you asked for it, not because you did a ritual, but because you are finally tuned to the right frequency, because you are finally in flow, because you are finally here. There is a story, very simple, about a man who spent 20 years looking for a treasure. He traveled to many countries. He read many books. He talked to many people. He was always moving, always searching, always sure that the treasure was somewhere else, just out of reach. One day, tired and old, he came back to his home, the small house where he grew up. And in the garden, under an old tree that had always been there, he found the treasure. It had been there the whole time. He had walked past it thousands of times. He just never looked, because he was always looking somewhere else. Your life is that garden. The thing you are looking for, peace, love, joy, abundance, it is already here, not in the future, not somewhere else, here, in this moment, under this tree that has always been here. You just have to stop running long enough to look. In our final chapter, we are going to bring everything together. We are going to talk about gratitude and flow as a way of living, not as tools, not as techniques, but as a genuine shift in how you move through the world. And we are going to talk about why, when you truly stop trying to attract things, the most beautiful things find you.
Chapter 4. Gratitude, Flow, and the Life that Finds You. We have come a long way together in this audiobook. We talked about the big mistake, wanting something so badly that you feel the lack of it, and how that feeling is exactly what keeps the thing away. We talked about vibration, how what you feel is always more powerful than what you say or wish. And we talked about the present moment, how it is the only real place, and how accepting it, truly accepting it, is not giving up, but opening up. Now we come to the last piece, and in some ways it is the simplest piece. But simple does not mean easy, because this last piece asks you to do something that goes against almost everything you were taught. It asks you to stop trying to get anything. Not forever, not in a passive, do-nothing kind of way, but in the deepest sense, to stop living from a place of wanting,
to stop making your happiness conditional on something that has not happened yet, to stop treating your life as a problem that needs to be solved before you can finally relax and enjoy it. Because here is the truth that nobody tells you. The life you are waiting for is not coming. Not because you cannot have good things, you can and you will, but because the waiting itself is the problem. The not yet is the problem. The I will be okay when is the problem. The life you are waiting for can only be found here, in this version of your life, in this moment, this ordinary, imperfect, completely real moment. Let's talk about gratitude one more time, but not gratitude as a morning exercise, not gratitude as a list of 5 things you write down before breakfast. Real gratitude, the kind that changes you from the inside. Real gratitude is when you look at something in your life, something you have had for so long that you stopped seeing it, and you suddenly feel how much it means. Maybe it is your health. Maybe it is a friend who always picks up the phone. Maybe it is the fact that you have a home and food and that you woke up this morning. Maybe it is something even smaller, a tree outside your window or the way your coffee smells in the morning. You look at this thing and you feel, really feel in your chest, in your body, that you are glad it is here, that it did not have to be here, but it is, that this is not nothing, this is something. That feeling is real gratitude, and it is completely different from the performed version, because you are not trying to attract anything. You are not doing it as a technique. You are just here with this thing and you feel lucky, genuinely lucky. And in that moment, your whole vibration changes. Not because you tried to change it, because you felt something true. This is the paradox at the heart of everything we have talked about. The things you want, love, peace, joy, abundance, connection, they cannot come to you when you are desperately reaching for them, because reaching for them means you feel they are far away, and what you feel is what you get.
But when you stop reaching, when you settle into your life as it is, when you find the real, honest good that is already here, you are no longer broadcasting lack, you are broadcasting fullness, and fullness attracts more fullness, not as a magic trick, as a natural consequence of how energy works, of how the universe mirrors you back to yourself. You have probably had moments in your life when things came easily, when you were not trying and suddenly the right person appeared, or the right opportunity showed up, or you had an idea that solved everything, and you thought, how did that happen? I was not even looking. That is not coincidence. That is you in a moment of flow, not blocking the natural movement of life. That is the universe doing what it always does, responding to where you actually are, not where you are trying to get to. Flow is not something exotic. You do not need to meditate for 10 years to find it. You have already been in flow many times. Every time you were completely absorbed in something you loved, a conversation, a piece of music, a walk, a creative project, and time disappeared. Every time you were so present that you forgot to worry, that was flow. That was you in alignment with life, not fighting it. And in those moments, did you notice how things felt different? How ideas came more easily? How people around you seemed warmer, more open? How small, good things kept happening, one after another? That is not magic. That is the natural result of being in the right vibration, of being present, of not fighting the moment. Now, someone might ask, but what about my dreams? What about the things I genuinely want to do, to have, to experience? Am I just supposed to forget about them? No, absolutely not. Dreams are important. They are part of being human. They give your life direction and meaning. But there is a difference between a dream you hold lightly and a dream you grip with both hands. When you hold a dream lightly, you can say, this is something I would love. I am moving toward it. I am open to it. I am excited about it. And then you let it go. You trust that if it is right for you, it will come. You do not check every day if it is coming. You do not feel like a failure because it's not here yet. You just live your life fully and keep your heart open. When you grip a dream, it becomes a source of suffering. Every day it is not here is a bad day. Every moment of not having becomes evidence that you are not good enough or lucky enough, or that life is against you. The dream stops being something beautiful and becomes something that controls you, something that makes you unhappy right now in exchange for the promise of happiness later. Let the dream be light. Let it float beside you. Enjoy imagining it. Enjoy moving toward it. But do not make your peace conditional on it, because your peace is available right now, not later, now. There is something else worth saying here, something about the people in your life, about relationships, because the law of attraction works in relationships too, and in a very specific way.
When you are looking for love from a place of lack, from loneliness, from fear, from the feeling of I am not complete without someone, you attract either nobody or the wrong person, because your vibration is one of need, and need pushes people away, or it pulls in people who match that energy, people who are also coming from a place of lack, of fear, of need. And those relationships are difficult, because two people who are both trying to get something from each other rather than share what they already have, that is a hard place to build something good. But when you are okay alone, when you enjoy your own company, when your life feels full and interesting even without a partner, when you are not waiting for someone to make you complete, that is when love finds you, easily, naturally, because you are not broadcasting need, you are broadcasting fullness, and fullness is one of the most attractive things in the world. This is true for money too, for friendships, for opportunities. When you are desperate for something, people sense it. Life senses it, and it creates distance. But when you are okay, genuinely okay, not performed okay, things come toward you. People are drawn to you. Doors open. Not because you did anything special, because you stopped blocking the flow. So how do you actually live this? How do you take everything from this audiobook and make it real in your daily life? It is not about a routine. It is not about a list of habits. It is about one shift, practiced again and again every day in small moments. The shift is this. Every time you notice yourself saying, I will be okay when, stop. Take a breath. Come back to now. Look at what is actually here and ask yourself honestly, is there something good in this moment? Something real, even if it is small. And when you find it, and you will find it because it is always there, let yourself feel it, just for a moment, without rushing to the next thing, without thinking about what is missing. Just feel this one good thing. Do that 100 times a day, not as an exercise, as a practice of seeing, of being here. Over time, something changes, not dramatically, quietly. The gap between where you are and where you want to be starts to feel less painful. The present moment starts to feel less like something to escape and more like somewhere you actually want to be. And from that place, that quiet, open, grateful, present place, your life begins to move. Not because you forced it, because you finally stopped pushing it away. The life that was always meant for you will find you. It always does. Thank you for listening to The Real Law of Attraction, Why Wanting Less Gets You More. If this audiobook gave you something, one idea, one moment of quiet recognition, one small shift, then it did its job. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the treasure is already there, under the tree, in your garden, in this moment. You just have to look.